made you both speechless and then sigh at me. So I now feel like I may have won the interwebs.
You won.
Let's just say I find that theologically dubious.
I didn't say I believed it. I didn't say that all Hindus believed it. I said that some apparently believed it.
Bob Marley probably believed it.
That is completely possible as well.
There are some people who think their dog is talking to them. So
Right, exactly. Again, I can't account for crazy on any side of anything.
Yeah.
I can only report what I was told.
Interesting. I was going to say I would find someone. It's intriguing to that. It's an aspect of Hinduism that I was not familiar with and wouldn't claim to be a student of the faith. I do kind of feel like there is a certain. I call me crazy and old fashioned, but I kind of feel like your path to God should be led by God and not necessarily by. I really want to have a hallucinogenic experience.
Well, no, but the thing about it is again, this is part of their religion, which is why my whole thing is this. It's not that, yes, I think people should all convert to Hinduism if they want to smoke weed. No, if they want to do that, they can move to Colorado. That's the easiest thing to do.
If you see a sudden surge in...
and they have. Take a look at the real estate market. But the fact of the matter is, I think it's just one of those things where every generation goes through this process, it seems, of purity test. And we push ourselves to the point where eventually you start to push back. And like I said, I think this is where my libertarian streak shows probably the most. This, along with some other issues probably that some of our listeners would just slit my throat over. But I'm okay with that because, I'm all about more voices.
Well, more voices, not less, is a fantastic slogan for a program that doesn't take calls.
Well, we're say more voices, what we mean is ours.
We're occasionally
we like to hear our voices.
Yeah, we're occasionally responsive on Twitter, and you can use the TJAMS hashtag TJAMS, originally for the Jim and Mickey Show, and there's a good chance we'll respond, or we'll ignore you, because we're idiots. I am Jim Garrity, that is Mickey White, and we'll be right back after this.
So good to see you. Got me dancing right out of my shoes. Don't need a reason. All I really need is you. Just for the fun of it. Delicious, crisp taste of it. Just for the love of it. Just for the feel of it. Just for the taste of it. Tired cold. Just wanna catch you. It's electric when you hit my lips. Feels so good to hold you. It's the no calories that makes me feel like this. Just for the fun of it. Just for the thrill of it. Just for the love of it. Ooh, just for the taste of it. Tired cold.
Welcome back to the Jim and Mickey Show. I am Jim Garrity, joined by Mickey White, and we have an important breaking news announcement. Listeners may want to sit down for this. Prepare the fainting chairs. I have been notified by my co-host of vitally important news out of Hollywood that everyone needs to be ready for. So, was it the Cameron
Did I
Diaz
get a
got
drum
married?
roll?
So Cameron Diaz got married, and
Yes.
you're going to explain in this segment why we should care?
Yes, I'm going to explain in this segment why you should care. Because Here's the thing. Cameron Diaz has been kind of the role model for a lot of single women out there. In fact, earlier this year, she did an entire tour talking about how fabulous it was to be over 40. She's 42, and she looks fantastic. She is in amazing shape. I have no hatred towards Cameron Diaz at all, but this is important because she just did a tour and a book talking about how fabulous it was to be 40 and single, and she didn't have children, and she was okay with that too. And then she had a surprise wedding to Benji Madden, which, for those of you who don't recognize that name, that's the other kid from Good Charlotte, who is also possibly one of the luckiest people on the planet. His brother married Nicole Richie. So wrap your mind around that. That's what
you realize a certain segment of the audience just said, "Who's Good Charlotte?"
Go Google it, and then
How
you'll
is
be
she
even
different?
more shocked than you can imagine.
How is she different from Bad Charlotte?
Well,
and who is Nicole Richie? I know who Nicole Richie is, but I'm just going to observe that,
look,
these
all I am telling you is you all need to Google this, and this is important because, again, Cameron Diaz has been the face of kind of the softer feminist movement, and certainly a certain, and I mean this in the non-offensive way to people who are all like, oh, I hate feminists. No, I don't mean that. I mean, she has been very girl power for real. She's out there doing movies, having a career, having a good time, dating, and seemingly living a very full life. And in fact, wrote a book just recently about that. And so in many ways, Jim, she is, a role model for the fabulous over 40 single woman. And she just had a secret marriage to a guy named Benji.
So this is kind of the George Clooney marriage for women.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
the legendary bachelorette who seemed, to insist she didn't need it, and the idea it's this outdated institution that doesn't fit in her life, and marriage got her too. So, all right, that makes me feel good. I'll give a little bit of applause for that one.
Yeah, so see, it does have some importance in the way that, obviously these are people that have been held up, as you said, and I hadn't even thought about the comparison to Clooney, but perfect. Because he's the bachelor that, finally settled down. And now you've got the bachelorette who has finally settled down. And so, maybe, just maybe, I was right when I said that people were interested in some normalcy in 2015. That's all I'm saying.
Now, I guess here's the problem, and I'm going to applaud it. I'll give it one round of applause as opposed to the full three. The problem is that the Hollywood star lives a life so light years away from that of the average person that that they're seen as role models, even though you can't really use a celebrity as a role model for your life unless you happen to be fabulously wealthy. People will pay you an enormous amount of money to show up at a place and smile and do things like that. That you are recognized everywhere you go, given stuff for free, able to hire nannies.
What is your problem with this?
When you split, you consciously uncouple.
Okay, now, look, first of all, I don't think that celebrities should be role models ever, as a rule. I think individuals you can look at and aspire to, that's one thing. But certainly not the celebrity culture is not something that normal Americans should aspire to, but we are kidding ourselves if we don't think that they do.
Oh,
and we were talking about TV and impact of TV and, things we look forward to. I am a huge Friends fan. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I always wanted them to do was have the wedding. And they never did. But one thing that they did do that changed culture forever was they made Jennifer Aniston look like a very hot pregnant lady.
Okay.
She changed not only the way that women cut their hair, but the way that they dressed while they were pregnant.
She herself did.
Well, her stylist. But her character, Rachel, when Rachel got pregnant with Emma Grace, there was Emma Grace Geller Green. I may or may not have been a really big fan of the show, but they came out with these very sexy maternity clothes, and now you see everyday women wearing them all the time. Some should not, but I don't judge. What I will say is that we clearly take our cues from Hollywood. And it's important for us to never forget that when we talk about different things that are going on in the world, that everyone, even if you think you're above it, you're probably not. You probably had the Rachel.
Probably. Actually, I'll give you one example of somebody who I think is a Hollywood figure who I will cite as a role model in a perhaps unexpected manner. And it's not merely, I agree with him politically or something like that. Just kind of interesting observation. So who is currently the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now, Mickey White?
I don't know.
Okay. The answer is, I believe, Robert Downey Jr. Thanks to the
Iron Man.
Iron Man
that
movies,
makes sense.
Avengers. He also did the Sherlock Holmes ones. He also does his dramas and stuff like that. Guess how old he was when he did his the first Iron Man movie?
How old was he?
43.
Wow.
So for anyone who ever wants to say, 40 is it, midlife crisis, et cetera, he really stands out as a guy who indicates you can do your best work. You can achieve phenomenal, not just phenomenal success, but really the apex of your profession. Completely reinvent yourself, and then think about all the fairly obvious drug problems and other grief and aggravation he had earlier in his life. That this is I'd like to think 40 is the new 30, and people can guess.
Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Bradley Cooper, the star of American Sniper, turned 40 this week.
Oh, wow.
And he makes 40 look pretty damn good. Don't really have a problem with the way 40 looks if that's what it's going to look like with Bradley Cooper. I'm okay with it. And, there may be something to that. So think about that. There's a positive note. Maybe
thinking back to Alias and the kind of, dweeby, nerdy guy that he played then. Because, he's not the first guy you would have expected to cast as Chris Kyle. And who I haven't seen the movie, but I've just been hearing, rave reviews, and particularly rave reviews for his performance. You want about a guy, again, it's nice when Hollywood can give you that example and say, hey, you know what? No matter how old you are, you're not done. And there's great potential for you to do fantastic work and fantastic achievements and great success.
And with that little pep talk,
fifth decade,
with that little pep talk from Jim, we have come to yet another end of, as you like to call it, the fastest hour of our week. Thanks for being here with us. You can listen to all of our tracks at soundcloud.com/The Jim and Mickey Show. You can also catch us on the 405 radio and on Vigilant Liberty Radio. And thanks to those affiliates, for those of you who have struggled and wanted to have it on iTunes, you can find it there now. And you can find it on Spreaker as well. As always, check us out at the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Jim and Mickey Show. Leave us comments, your thoughts and suggestions on SoundCloud, and we will be happy to tweet back to you if you reach us out to us on Twitter. And you can reach us at #TJAMS. That's TJAMS. I'm Mickey White. He's Jim Garrity, and you've been listening to The Jim and Mickey Show.
Love, exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. And love, life's sweetest reward. Let it flow. It floats back to you. Love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on